Fanfics in a nutshell. Like, share, and subscribe. Hell is not a place, it is a function. It takes everything a soul tries to hide. Fear, hunger, grief, rage, and turns it into weather. The sky runs dark and heavy like it is bruised. The ground remembers every scream that ever hit it. Demons don't pray here. They bargain, they hunt, they sharpen themselves on suffering, and they call it order because the alternative is admitting the whole realm is built on noise. Naruto walks through it like he belongs. He is tall, controlled, and deadly in that quiet way that makes weaker things start moving backward before they understand why. His cloak hangs like a shadow with teeth. His eyes sit in his skull like violet embers that never cool. He is not a hero. He is not a savior. He is a devil who has lived long enough to watch empires rise and rot into dust. And he has learned one truth that never changes. Power only respects power. He has bled for it. He has trained under it. He has been betrayed by it. Once, he is a kid with nothing but grief and a hunger that scrapes him hollow. His family is dead, his home is ash, and the realm that should have protected him is too busy tearing itself apart. Lucifer finds him like a storm finding a loose roof tile. Lucifer offers a hand that is really a chain, and Naruto takes it anyway because weakness is just another word for being someone else's meal. Centuries grind by. Naruto learns hellfire, darkness, and demon magic. He learns to fight up close, to end things with his hands. He learns to carry a blade like it's part of his spine. He becomes a name whispered in the alleys of Makai, a problem passed between generals like a cursed coin, and then Lucifer betrays him. Not because Naruto attacks first, not because Naruto reaches for the throne, but because Naruto grows too strong, and Lucifer cannot stand the idea that anything in hell could rise high enough to look him in the eye without flinching. Their battle cracks the landscape, turns the sea of blood into a split wound, and kills lesser demons just from the pressure of their existence. Naruto survives. Barely. He retreats, heals, and turns his anger into a direction. He fights everyone, Lucifer's armies, Yami's forces, anyone who shows up thinking they can collect his head and trade it for favor. He becomes the kind of devil who doesn't just win. He makes the idea of challenging him feel embarrassing. That is why the first summoning irritates him. He feels it tug at his consciousness like a hook. A human reaching down into hell, calling for a demon like ordering a weapon. Naruto shuts it out. Not because he fears it, because he hates humans. Because the human world is protected and still manages to be arrogant, still manages to enslave monsters and call it peace, still manages to create systems that chew up the powerless and pretend it's destiny. Then the tug comes again. And again. Persistent. Stubborn. Months pass and the summons keep rattling his mind. It's not the power of the call, it's the refusal to stop. Whoever this human is, they are either desperate enough to die for it, or foolish enough to think they can drag a demon titan like a dog on a leash. Naruto finally exhales, annoyed, and lets the pull take him. Black folds over him like a mouth opening. The portal snaps him upward and out, and in the next breath he stands on stone under a night sky that smells like pine and human sweat. Below him, a village hums with distant life. Above him, a mountain ridge carved with faces stares out over the land like judgment, Konoha, the Hokage monument. Near the edge of the monument's shadow stands a woman with red hair tied neatly up, dressed like royalty. Her skin glows pale in the moonlight. Her violet eyes burn with a hatred so pure it feels like a blade pressed against the air. Her fists are clenched hard enough to bleed, and she is staring at the stone face of Hashirama Senju like she wants to break the mountain with her teeth. Uzumaki Mito. Naruto sees the summoning circle at her feet, the inked lines, the crackle of energy, and he smells the familiar stench of sealing arts. He also feels something else, a chakra presence inside her, ancient and feral, a fox pressed into a cage. The Nine-Tails energy shivers, not in defiance, in recognition of a predator. Mito turns as the portal finishes opening, and the moment her eyes land on Naruto, her body tries to do what every sane human body does in the presence of a demon titan. Run. Her legs don't move. Her breath catches. Fear crawls up her spine and grabs the back of her skull, but she stays standing. That earns Naruto's attention more than her beauty does. He watches her fight the instinct to collapse. He watches her swallow whatever pride she has left. And then she bows, deep, respectful, controlled, like someone who has finally chosen the only language that matters. "Why have you called me here, mortal?" Naruto's voice is calm. That makes it worse. Mito lifts her head slowly. I'm sorry for the frequent summons, she says, words tight with restraint. I'm desperate. I needed help by any means necessary, even if it meant summoning a demon. Naruto's eyes narrow. Do you know the exchange? Mito hesitates, and the hesitation tells him everything. No, I only know this is a last resort technique meant for the Uzumaki. The rest was lost. It was written by the Sage of Six Paths himself, but Naruto gives a cold, humorless sound. The sage's name means nothing here but a punchline. Listen carefully, he says. Demons do nothing for free. You want something done, you pay an equal value. The higher the demon, the higher the price. Mito steadies herself. Then, what class are you? Naruto looks at her like she has asked how heavy the sky is. Demon Titan. Her eyes widen. Fear spikes. Then her face hardens again, and Naruto watches that shift with interest. She came to the edge of hell and didn't flinch away. That kind of will doesn't belong to the weak. What is it you want me to do? He asks. Mito's voice turns rough. My husband used Uzumaki Fuinjutsu on me, a seal that makes me look like I love him. It takes the user's blood. It turns the target into a drone. It steals rationality. It steals choice. Her breath shakes once, like she hates herself for even needing to say it out loud. He used our arranged marriage to bind my clan to Konoha through me. He abused the treaty. He abused me. The air tightens. Naruto doesn't smile, but something in him shifts, the smallest tilt toward focus. Because there are many ways to anger him, and one of them is humans using chains and calling it virtue. Mito drops to her knees fully, head bowing to the stone, not as worship. As surrender, as strategy, as survival. I need you to remove the seal, she says, and I need you to kill Hashirama. Naruto doesn't answer immediately. He measures her. He measures the hatred, the desperation, the clarity of her request. He respects a clean motive even if it's ugly. It can be done, he says at last, but the price is steep. Mito looks up. I don't care. Naruto's eyes stay empty. Your soul. For one heartbeat, Mito looks like she has been punched. Her mouth parts. Her hands tremble. My soul, she whispers. Is there anything else I can offer? Naruto closes his eyes like he's irritated with himself. There is a flicker. Something that feels like a memory he doesn't want. A mother protected by a father. A child left alive because someone chose to stand in front of the blade. He opens his eyes again. There is one other option, he says. You sacrifice your humanity. On the day you die, I take your soul. I place it into a demon body. You become my slave for eternity. That is the choice. Mito stares, calculating. If she refuses, she returns to a life of enforced obedience and smiling lies. If she accepts the first price, she becomes a soul in hell's torture pits. No control, no future, only punishment. If she accepts the second, she trades one master for another, but at least she trades into power. Her jaw sets. I accept, she says, voice breaking into steel, as long as he pays. Naruto nods once. Then the deal is struck. A breath leaves Mito like she's been holding it for years. Naruto steps closer. Show me the seal. Mito's cheeks color faintly as she opens her kimono just enough to reveal her stomach. She channels chakra, and the seal blooms to life, layers upon layers, a binding art sitting on top of the seal that holds the nine tails. Naruto studies it with clinical attention, his hand moving across the lines like he is reading a language with his fingertips. Mito stiffens at the contact. Not from desire, she does not let herself have that. It's the shock of gentleness from something that should not be capable of it. Naruto's palm glows with dark violet aura. Demon magic, release. The purple energy spreads over the enslavement seal like rot on paper. The lines corrode. The ink flakes off like dry paint, turning to dust that the wind steals away. Mito's eyes fill fast. She swallows hard, refusing to sob, refusing to collapse, but the relief hits her like a wave and almost takes her under. Thank you, she manages. Naruto doesn't soften. Now the second part. Where is Hashirama? Mito points, and her finger shakes with restrained fury. Toward the compound nestled in the forest, the place that holds her cage disguised as a home. Naruto moves before she can blink. He lifts her without struggle, without warning, and throws her over his shoulder like she weighs nothing. Mito yelps, shocked. What are you doing? We're finishing your bargain, Naruto says, flat as stone. In a blur of purplish glow, they vanish. They reappear on a rooftop at the edge of the compound, the world still as if holding its breath. Mito clings to his cloak for balance, stunned by the speed. Naruto sets her down, and her legs wobble like the ground has forgotten how to behave. Lead, he orders. Mito does. They move through the compound like a nightmare sliding under doors. Traps click uselessly, disabled without sound. Guards remain ignorant in their beds. Naruto doesn't have to kill them. He is here for one name. Hashirama's room is dark. The Shodaime sleeps under blankets, face relaxed, unaware that the price of his cruelty has arrived in the form of something older than his entire world. Naruto steps to the bed. He places one hand over Hashirama's head. Demon magic, eroding sleep. Green aura blooms, sickly and quiet. Hashirama's eyes snap open in panic, but Naruto's other hand clamps his mouth shut, silencing the shout before it exists. Mito watches. She does not look away. Hashirama's skin wrinkles fast, drying, collapsing. Green smoke curls out of him like his life is being boiled away. His eyes turn to liquid, melting with hate aimed straight at Mito. His body follows. Flesh, muscle, everything dissolving into nothing but bone. In seconds, a skeleton lies where Konoha's god of shinobi used to breathe. Mito's mouth opens on a sound that is half disbelief, half release. "Wow," she whispers, and it is not admiration. It is the shock of seeing a nightmare end cleanly. Naruto turns to her. "Now your turn." Mito flinches, then squares herself. "Show me your right shoulder." She pulls her kimono down slightly, revealing pale skin. Naruto gathers energy into his fingertip, presses it to her shoulder. Heat. Burning. A sharp bite that forces a hiss from her throat. When he pulls back, a symbol sits there, slave of Hellwing, before sinking into her skin like it has always belonged. Mito touches the spot with trembling fingers. Fear and relief twist together inside her. It is a mark. A chain. But it is also proof. Proof that the bargain is real. Proof that the man she hated is truly gone. Naruto's portal opens at his feet, dark and spiraling. "That symbol means you are mine," he says. "When your time comes, I will know. I will be there to take your soul. Until then, enjoy your last years as a mortal." Mito's eyes glisten. She bows again, deeper this time, and it's messy with emotion she doesn't know how to hold. "May I know your name?" Naruto pauses, half-turned toward the portal. For one breath, the mask slips just enough to show a ghost of a smile. "Naruto," he says. "Hellwing Naruto, remember it." Then the portal swallows him whole, snapping shut, leaving Mito alone with a dead husband and a burning mark under her skin. Back in hell, Naruto lands in a crouch and rises, looking up as the last trace of the portal closes. He lets out a small chuckle that would make lesser demons scatter in terror. He murmurs. "That woman is interesting for a mortal." A millennium passes in hell like a season. Naruto fights. He kills. He refuses Yami's invitation to become a general and earns a warrant for his head. He humiliates Lucifer's armies. He turns battlefields into silent proof that power belongs to whoever can take it and hold it. He stands among scorched ground in fading hellfire, untouched, while bodies turn to ash around him. He feels no pride, only motion. Then something tugs at him again. Not a summoning, a pull from his own mark. Naruto looks up into the pitch-black clouds, recognition sharpening his gaze. "Seems it is time," he says softly, almost bored. He snaps his fingers. A dark portal opens in front of him, hungry and spinning. Her death has come, and Naruto steps forward into the dark. The portal spits him out into a room that smells like medicine, sweat, and old wood. The air is thin, human, fragile. Candlelight trembles on paper screens. Outside, rain taps softly, like the world itself is trying not to interrupt. Uzumaki Mito lies on a futon, wrapped in blankets that can't hold her heat anymore. Her red hair has dulled with age, but the eyes are the same. Violet, sharp, furious even as her body fails. The mark on her shoulder sits hidden under cloth, but Naruto feels it like a thread tied around his finger. A promise that never loosened. She turns her head, and for a second, she looks almost amused. "You came," she rasps. Naruto stands at the foot of the futon. He looks untouched by time. He looks like the same nightmare that walked into her life and ripped her chains off by force. "I said I would," he answers. Mito coughs, a wet thing she tries to control. Her fingers clutch the blanket, knuckles pale. "I've lived longer than I deserved," she says. "Long enough to see the village thrive on lies." A bitter laugh tries to form and dies halfway. "He died clean. You kept your end. I kept mine." Naruto's gaze shifts across the room. There are scrolls stacked neatly, the work of a mind that refused to go dull even while the body collapsed. There are seals scribbled in ink and scratched out again, like she spent her final years trying to claw at the boundary between mortal and impossible. "You didn't try to remove the mark," Naruto says. Mito's eyes narrow, offended. "I'm not stupid. I knew better than to insult a demon titan. Besides," she exhales, slow, heavy. "Even if I hated the idea at first, I chose it. I would rather belong to hell than belong to them again." Naruto watches her. In the space between breaths, he measures something he doesn't like measuring. Resolve, pride, the kind of stubbornness that makes a soul hard to break. "You understand what happens next," he says. Mito's throat moves as she swallows pain. "You take me." "Yes. And I become—" "What?" Naruto's eyes gleam faintly. "A devil. Strong enough to survive what would shred a human soul. Bound to me." Mito's lips twitch. "Slave." Naruto doesn't deny it. He doesn't soften it. He has never needed pretty words to make truth easier to swallow. Mito closes her eyes for a moment, and when she opens them again, there is no fear left, only an iron calm. "Then do it," she whispers, "before I lose the nerve to spit in the face of heaven." Naruto steps closer. He kneels beside her, his presence making the candle flames bend away. He places 2 fingers on her forehead. Mito flinches at the cold, then forces herself still. Her eyes lock onto his like she's daring him to hesitate. Naruto speaks one short phrase, old enough to predate human language. Demon magic doesn't ask permission from nature, it takes. The room darkens. The shadows thicken into something almost liquid. The air tastes like metal. Mito's breath catches once, sharp. Her body spasms, not in agony, not in fear, but in the violent moment where the soul realizes it is being unplugged from flesh. Her eyes widen. Naruto feels her spirit peel free, a bright ember tearing itself from a dying lantern. For an instant, her soul looks like her young again, hair like fire, eyes like storms. The world holds that image as if it knows it won't get to keep it. Then Naruto closes his hand. The ember disappears into his palm, contained, owned. Mito's body on the futon goes slack. Silence fills the room. The candles stop trembling. Naruto stands. He doesn't look at the corpse with reverence or pity. Mortality is a brief costume. He has seen it fall off too many times to pretend it is sacred. He opens a portal, and the room is swallowed by darkness on the way out. Hell welcomes him back with heat and noise. The sky groans. Distant screams rise and fade like wind. The ground pulses underfoot as if it has a heartbeat. Naruto walks through it without urgency, moving toward his domain. Hellwing Castle, a massive structure carved from black stone and old victories. Towers twist into the sky like sharpened bones. Chains hang from arches like decoration. Demons guard the gates, but they don't challenge him. They bow, eyes lowered, bodies tense with survival instinct. Inside, the air is cooler, heavy with power. Torches burn with violet flame. The hallways echo with the footsteps of things that don't sleep. Naruto enters a chamber built for rituals, a circular room carved with sigils that look like scars in the floor. In the center stands a slab of obsidian. Above it, a chandelier bone hangs like a warning. He lifts his hand. The ember of Mito's soul rises from his palm, hovering, flickering. For a second, Naruto simply watches it, not because he is sentimental, because he is precise. A soul can be remade. It can also be ruined, twisted into a screaming, broken thing that never becomes useful. Naruto does not waste resources. He speaks again, another old phrase, and the room answers. A new body forms on the slab. It starts as shadow, then thickens into flesh. Horns curl slightly from the temples. Skin smooths into an unnatural perfection. Muscles knit with quiet strength. Claws form at the tips of fingers that have never held a needle or a brush in their life, only weapons. A tail flickers into existence and then stills. The body is young, adult, built to endure. Naruto pushes the soul down into it. Mito's spirit slams into the devil body like lightning into a tower. She arches hard, gasping, eyes snapping open. Violet. The same eyes. She sucks in air like she's drowning, chest rising and falling too fast. Her hands clutch the slab, claws scraping stone. Her head turns, searching, disoriented by senses that are suddenly too sharp. She can smell the blood in the torches, taste the fear of demons passing outside, hear the crackle of distant fights like they're down the hallway. Naruto steps into her line of sight. Her breathing slows the moment she sees him. "You did it," she says, voice deeper, richer, not aged anymore. It carries a faint distortion, like a growl buried beneath speech. Naruto's gaze drifts over her new form, checking for flaws. Yes. Mito sits up slowly. The blanket of mortality is gone. Pain is gone. Weakness is gone. What remains is raw capability and the shock of realizing what it costs. Her hand rises to her shoulder instinctively. The mark is there, no longer hidden. It glows faintly against her skin, branded into her existence. She looks at it, then she looks back at Naruto. So this is eternity. Naruto's pace doesn't change. This is the beginning. Mito swings her legs off the slab. Her movements are cautious at first, like she doesn't trust the strength under her skin. Then she stands, and the air seems to tighten around her, recognizing a new predator has stepped into the food chain. She is taller now, posture straight, eyes forward. Her red hair falls down her back like a banner. The demon body fits her spirit too well, like the universe always meant her to be dangerous. Mito tests her hands, flexing claws. "I feel heavier," she murmurs, "like the world is lighter and I am the weight." Naruto watches, quiet, letting her experience settle. Then he points to the floor. "Kneel." Mito's eyes flash, pride rises. For half a breath, Naruto expects refusal. He expects the same defiance she aimed at Hashirama, the stubbornness that kept her alive in a cage. Then Mito exhales and drops to one knee, not because she likes it, because she understands power structures, because she has already survived one world where denial got you broken. Naruto steps close and tilts her chin up with 2 fingers. "Look at me!" Mito meets his eyes. Naruto's voice is low. "Your old life is dead. Your old laws are dead. Here, you are mine. I do not want weak slaves. Weakness creates problems. Problems create openings. Openings invite enemies." Mito's expression hardens. "Then teach me." Naruto's mouth twitches like he approves and hates approving at the same time. "I will." He releases her chin. "Stand." She rises smoothly. Naruto gestures toward the far wall where weapons rest. Blades, spears, chains, and a sword that looks like it was forged from night itself. "Choose." Mito approaches the weapons, eyes scanning them. In life, she fought with seals and chakra, with patience and control. Here, the options are blunt, honest, violent. She reaches for a blade short enough for speed, long enough to kill. The moment her fingers wrap around the hilt, the weapon hums, responding to the demon energy in her blood. It feels alive. It feels eager. Mito's lips part slightly, so even steel has hunger here. Naruto's eyes narrow with faint amusement. Everything has hunger here. He steps back, giving space. "Show me what you know." Mito lifts the blade, stance settling. She moves through forms, clean, practiced, disciplined. She learned from watching shinobi. She learned from watching soldiers. She learned from surviving. Her movements are efficient, but they are still human in their rhythm. Naruto watches for 3 seconds, then moves. He closes the distance in one step, faster than thought, and strikes her wrist with the edge of his hand. Her blade spins out, clattering across the stone. Mito's eyes widen. Anger flashes. She lunges at him barehanded, claws aimed for his throat. Naruto catches her by the forearm and twists, forcing her down. Mito hits the floor hard enough to crack stone. The impact would have shattered a human. In her new body, it hurts, but it doesn't break her. She snarls, pushing up. Naruto plants a boot on her shoulder, holding her in place like she's nothing. "Too slow," he says. "Too emotional." Mito bares her teeth, breathing hard. "I'm not used to this body." Naruto's boot presses down, not crushing, but controlling. "Then get used to it. The realm won't wait while you adjust." He steps off. Mito rises, eyes burning. She doesn't retrieve the weapon. Instead, she launches again, faster this time, using her new strength without hesitation. Her claws aim low, then high, then low again in a pattern meant to trick. Naruto sidesteps, palm slamming into her ribs. The blow sends her skidding across the floor. She stops herself, breath coming sharp, and then she laughs once, short, fierce, almost thrilled. "So this is what it feels like to be allowed to fight," she says. Naruto's gaze sharpens. "Allowed? No, earned." Mito wipes blood from the corner of her mouth with her thumb, studying it like it's an interesting detail instead of a wound. "Then I'll earn it." That's the first real shift. The first moment she stops mourning her old self and starts building the new one with teeth. Days in hell are measured by survival, not sunrise. Time slides. Training becomes routine. Naruto breaks her down and rebuilds her with methods that would count as cruelty in any softer world. He teaches her demon magic in pieces. How to summon hellfire into her palm, how to shape it into a blade, how to cloak herself in aura until fear becomes a weapon. Mito learns fast, faster than most. Because rage makes an excellent teacher when it's aimed correctly. Sometimes she fails hard. Sometimes she gets thrown through walls. Sometimes she collapses, breath ragged, muscle screaming, and Naruto stands over her with that cold patience he uses for everything. But she always stands back up, not because she wants to impress him, because she refuses to be helpless ever again. At the edge of one training session, when she finally manages to conjure a stable arc of violet flame that doesn't explode in her face, Naruto watches her for a long moment. "You learn too quickly," he says. Mito's eyebrows lift. Is that a complaint? Naruto's eyes narrow. It is a warning. Mito turns the flame off and faces him. Her voice drops slightly, careful but bold. "You're afraid I'll become a problem." Naruto steps closer until she can feel the pressure of his aura pressing against her skin like heat. "I am not afraid," he says, "but I don't keep anything near me that could become a weakness." Mito holds his gaze. There is tension there. Not soft, not romantic, but electric. Two predators measuring distance. Loyalty and danger sharing the same space. She leans in a fraction, not touching, just close enough to make the air feel charged. "Then make me useful," she says. "Make me strong enough that no one can take me from you." Naruto's eyes flicker. For one breath, his attention drops to her mouth and then returns to her eyes like a blade snapping back into its sheath. If I do this, he says quietly, it changes things. Mito doesn't blink. Good. The moment hangs there, sharp and private. Then Naruto turns away like he refuses to let it deepen into anything he can't control. Back to work, he orders. Mito exhales, annoyed and satisfied at the same time, and follows. Outside Hellwing Castle, rumors spread. Demons whisper about the human queen who died and came back wearing horns. They whisper about the way she stands beside Hellwing Naruto in the halls, head high, eyes violent, as if hell itself is just another court she plans to conquer. Some demons sneer, thinking she's decoration. Then they watch her fight. They watch her rip through challengers with controlled brutality, sealing arts mixed with demon magic in ways that shouldn't exist. They watch her endure injuries that would kill a lesser devil. They watch her stand back up every time, blood on her teeth, smiling like pain is just another flavor of freedom. And slowly, the sneers stop. Naruto doesn't announce her as anything. He doesn't need to. The mark on her shoulder does that. The way she follows him and the way others clear a path does that. Hell understands hierarchy. Hell understands ownership. Still, there are eyes watching beyond hell. From heaven's side of the boundary, where light pretends its purity, something stirs. Something notices the ripple. A demon titan moving with more purpose than usual. A human soul remade into a devil and not shattered by the transition. That doesn't happen. Not cleanly. Not without consequence. Naruto feels the shift like a pressure change before a storm. He stands at a balcony of black stone, looking out over his territory. Lava rivers glow like veins. Distant battles flash on the horizon like lightning. Mito steps beside him, hands clasped behind her back, posture regal even here. You're thinking, she says. Naruto doesn't look at her. Someone noticed. Mito's eyes narrow. Heaven. Naruto's mouth curves faintly, humorless. Maybe. Maybe something worse. Mito turns toward him. Do we have enemies? Naruto finally looks at her. Everyone is an enemy until proven otherwise. Mito nods once, accepting it like an old truth she has always carried. Then prove me useful, she says again, softer now, more dangerous. Give me the kind of strength that makes even gods hesitate. Naruto's gaze hardens as he stares into the dark horizon. Somewhere far away, beyond hell's storms, a sound begins to rise, low, distant, like a voice calling through stone. Naruto's eyes narrow. The voice isn't clear yet, but it feels like a warning aimed directly at him. And the pressure in the air thickens, as if the next chapter of his eternity is about to start whether he wants it or not. The pressure doesn't leave. It settles into Hellwing Castle like an extra layer of gravity. Demons move quieter. Torches burn lower. Even the walls feel like they're listening. Naruto doesn't show concern. He doesn't pace. He doesn't ask questions out loud. He waits. Because when you're strong enough, you don't chase omens. You let them come close enough to kill. Mito stands beside him on the balcony for a long time, eyes scanning the horizon. She has learned the rhythm of hell. The way distant screams can mean nothing. The way silence can mean war. The new body fits her now. The demon aura doesn't flicker. It holds steady, disciplined, like a blade kept sharp. You're not surprised, she says finally. Naruto's gaze stays on the stormline. Surprise is for people who don't expect consequences. Mito tilts her head. And you expected this? Naruto's mouth barely moves. A demon titan taking a human soul and turning it into a devil without it breaking. That rattles the boundary. Heaven watches. Hell watches. Everyone watches. It was always going to pull attention. Mito's eyes narrow, thoughtful. Then why do it? Naruto glances at her, and for the first time his answer isn't clean. Because I wanted to. Mito's lips twitch like she's satisfied and irritated by the honesty. She looks away, hiding something in her expression. Then the watchers can choke on it. Naruto almost smiles. Almost. Then the tug hits him. Not the mark, not an omen, a summoning. It slams into his mind like a hook driven deep. It drags at his consciousness, arrogant and frantic, demanding his presence like he's a tool on a shelf. Naruto's aura spikes. The balcony stones crack under his feet. Mito feels it instantly. Her hand goes to her blade. Another summoner. Naruto's eyes turn colder than the void. Human. Mito's expression sharpens, the old hate rising. Someone else wants to chain you. Naruto's voice is quiet. They can try. The summoning pulls again, harder, desperate. Naruto clenches his jaw. He could resist. He could snap the thread and crush the caller's spirit from here. But something about this one is different. It's not steady like Mito's was. It's panicked, shaking, fueled by fear and fury. It smells like a cornered animal. Naruto turns slightly, speaking over his shoulder. Stay. Mito's eyes flash. No. Naruto's gaze cuts into her like a knife. This is not training. This is a human world problem. If you follow, you bring hell into Konoha with you. Mito steps closer, chin lifted. Hell is already in Konoha. It just wears a polite face. Naruto holds her stare for a long breath. Then he exhales through his nose, irritation and something else mixing. Fine, he says, but you obey me. One wrong move, and I drag you back through the portal by your throat. Mito's smile is small and vicious. Understood. The summoning yanks again, and Naruto stops resisting. Darkness folds around them, the world snaps. They land in moonlit forest air, the smell of wet soil and blood. The sky is different, cleaner, smaller, too bright. Naruto hates how thin the human world feels, like a fragile paper wall between it and real power. They stand on a flat stone clearing, surrounded by trees and old roots. A summoning circle glows beneath Naruto's feet, inked lines pulsing with chakra. The technique is Uzumaki. The style is familiar. And the woman kneeling in front of him is not old. She is young, red-haired, and shaking. Uzumaki Kushina. Her face is pale from pain and stress. Her eyes are wide, bright with desperation. Her hands are pressed to her abdomen protectively, and Naruto smells the faintest trace of blood mixed with iron and life. Pregnant. Mito stiffens like someone touched a nerve. Her eyes narrow hard, and her aura flares in an instant, protective, furious, possessive in a way she doesn't name. Kushina looks up, sees Naruto, and freezes. For a second, she doesn't breathe. The air around her trembles like her body wants to run and her mind won't let it. Naruto's gaze locks onto her stomach and then returns to her face. You summoned me, he says. Kushina swallows. Her voice comes out rough. Yes? Mito steps forward half a pace, and Naruto blocks her with one hand, not even looking away from Kushina. A quiet warning. Kushina's eyes flick to Mito's horns, the mark on her shoulder. Fear spikes. Then her gaze hardens. So, it's true, Kushina whispers. The legend is real. Naruto's expression doesn't change. Speak your request. Kushina's hands tremble as she tightens her grip on her stomach. I need you to remove a seal. One placed on me with my husband's blood. A fuinjutsu that forces loyalty. That forces love. That forces obedience. Her voice cracks on the last word, and she bites it back hard. And I need you to kill the one who put it there. Mito's eyes go razor sharp. A low sound rumbles in her throat. Not quite a growl, not quite a laugh. They never change. Kushina looks at her, confused, then back to Naruto. I don't care what the cost is, she says, like she has rehearsed it. I refuse to die as someone else's puppet. Naruto studies her. He sees the same thing he saw in Mito rage pressed into discipline, desperation sharpened into a blade. But there's an added layer here. Kushina's fear isn't just for herself, it's for what she carries. Naruto's voice drops, dangerous. Do you understand what you're risking by summoning a demon titan while pregnant? Kushina's eyes flash. Do you think I don't know? I didn't do this because I wanted to. I did it because I ran out of other ways to survive. Naruto holds her gaze, then he nods once. Price. Kushina doesn't blink. Name it. Naruto's eyes flick briefly to Mito, then back. Your soul. Or your humanity. Kushina's breath catches, her shoulders tense. She looks down for a moment like she is seeing her own grave already dug. Then she looks back up. Humanity, she says, voice firm. I'll take the second option. Naruto's gaze sharpens. On the day you die, I take you. I put your soul into a demon body. You become mine. Kushina's jaw sets. Fine. A beat of silence. Then Mito speaks, voice controlled but hot. You're choosing hell for your child too. Kushina's eyes flare with anger. Don't talk like you understand me. Mito steps forward again, aura rippling. I do. More than anyone in that village ever will. Naruto lifts his hand, cutting it off. Enough. Both women go still, the command snapping tight through the air. Naruto looks back to Kushina. Show me the seal. Kushina hesitates, not from modesty, from trust. Her eyes flick around the forest like she expects shinobi to drop from the trees at any second. No one followed you? Naruto asks. Kushina shakes her head. I masked it. I came alone. I'm not stupid. Naruto hums. Good. Then show me. Kushina pulls her clothing aside enough to reveal her stomach, and Naruto sees it immediately. A seal layered into her chakra network like a parasite tied to another's blood. It's clever. It's cruel. It's meant to overwrite will and call it devotion. Kushina's hand shakes as she exposes it. The baby inside her shifts, and for a second Naruto feels the little pulse of life, innocent, unaware of how violently its future is being rewritten. Kushina senses Naruto noticing. Her voice tightens. Don't. Naruto's eyes lift to hers. Don't what? Don't look at me like I'm already damned, she snaps. I know what I'm doing. Naruto's expression stays flat. You're right, you are damned. You chose to be. That's different. Kushina's lips press tight. Then she nods once, sharp. Do it. Naruto places his palm over the seal, fingers spread. Kushina's whole body goes rigid. The sensation is immediate, cold and heat at once, like a shadow crawling under her skin, like something old and hungry reading her from the inside. Mito watches, jaw clenched, eyes burning. Naruto's palm glows violet. Demon magic, release. The violet rot spreads over the seal. The lines corrode. The ink flakes away like ash. Kushina gasps, not in pain, but in shock, because something inside her shifts. A fog lifting, a pressure vanishing. She blinks fast, tears spilling without permission. Her voice breaks. It's gone. Naruto removes his hand. Yes. Kushina presses her palm to her stomach, breathing hard, like she is hearing her own thoughts clearly for the first time in years. Then her eyes lift, and the rage that was held back by enchantment finally has the whole stage. Minato, she whispers. Mito's eyes narrow. So it's him. Kushina turns toward Mito, anger flashing. Don't say his name like you own it. Mito steps closer, voice sharp. I don't own it, I despise it. It's the same pattern. A man with a title who thinks a woman's will is a resource. Kushina's mouth opens, ready to spit something vicious. Naruto cuts through them again. Where is he? Kushina's focus snaps back. She points toward the village in the distance, the same mountain faces carved into stone, in the Hokage Tower. Surrounded by loyal dogs, he thinks he's safe. Naruto's tone is flat. He isn't. Mid-roll. If you're still with me, hit like, share, and subscribe. We're just getting started. Naruto doesn't waste time. He grabs Kushina by the back of her kimono and pulls her close. Not gently, not cruelly, just efficiently. With his other hand, he grips Mito's wrist. Both women tense at the contact. Kushina's fear spikes again. Mito's pride bristles. Naruto doesn't care. A portal opens beneath them like a mouth. They drop through. The next moment, they stand on the roof of the Hokage Tower. Wind whips across the rooftop. The village below is quiet, unaware. Lights glow in windows. People sleep. They don't feel the monster standing above them, deciding the shape of their history. Kushina's breath comes quick. She clutches her stomach with one hand, steadying herself with the other on the roof tiles. This is, she starts. Naruto doesn't let her finish. Stay behind me. Kushina's eyes flash. I'm not. Naruto's gaze cuts to her. Behind me. Kushina swallows whatever argument she was about to throw. She nods once. Naruto moves to the rooftop access door. It's locked. He doesn't use keys. He places his palm against the wood, and the lock corrodes instantly, metal turning to dust. They descend the stairs. The building smells like ink, paper, and ego. They reach the Hokage's office door. Naruto pauses just long enough to listen. Inside, a man's voice murmurs, confident, tired, believing in his own goodness. Another voice answers, respectful, loyal. Minato Namikaze. Naruto pushes the door open. The office is lit by a single lamp. Scrolls spread across a desk. The fourth Hokage sits behind it, blonde hair catching the warm light. He looks up, startled, hand moving toward a kunai. An ANBU guard steps forward instantly. Mask blank, blade ready. Minato's eyes widen as his gaze lands on Kushina. Kushina? He says, confusion snapping into alarm. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be. His eyes shift to Naruto and Mito. The air changes. Minato's instincts scream. Power recognizes power. Who are you? Minato demands, voice tight. Naruto doesn't answer him. He looks at Kushina. Is that him? Kushina's eyes burn. Yes. Minato's expression tightens, shifting into something careful. Kushina, listen to me. Whoever these people are, you're not thinking clearly. You're under stress. You're pregnant. Kushina laughs once, sharp and broken. Don't, she snaps. Don't pretend you're worried about me now. Minato's gaze flickers. What did you do? He asks, voice lowering. Kushina steps forward despite Naruto's warning, staying just behind his shoulder. What did I do? She repeats, and the words shake with rage. I asked for help. I asked for freedom. Because you stole it. Minato's face hardens. You don't understand the burden. Mito's voice slices through, calm and deadly. They always say that. Minato's eyes snap to Mito, taking in the horns, the mark. Fear flashes through him, then he clamps it down behind a Hokage's mask. You, Minato says, voice colder, you're a demon. Naruto finally speaks to him. Correct. The ANBU guard moves like a shadow, blade aimed for Naruto's throat. Naruto doesn't even look at him. He lifts two fingers, and the ANBU freezes mid-lunge, body locked in place as if time itself grabbed him. Demon magic. Bind. The guard's breath turns ragged. His eyes widen behind the mask. He can't move. He can't scream. Minato's hand clenches on the desk edge. Release him, he orders, chakra rising. Naruto's aura rises in response, drowning the room. Minato's knees flex involuntarily, body wanting to bow under pressure. Naruto's voice stays quiet. You used blood fuinjutsu to enslave an Uzumaki, he says. You thought marriage was permission. You thought duty was justification. You thought power made you righteous. Minato's jaw tightens. Everything I did was for the village. Kushina's eyes fill with tears that look like they want to become knives. No, she whispers. Everything you did was for control. Minato's gaze flickers to her stomach, and something soft tries to surface. Kushina, our child. Our child will not grow up watching you rewrite my mind and call it love, Kushina says, voice shaking. Our child will not learn that this is what a good man does. Minato's throat moves. You're under the influence of these demons. They're manipulating you. Mito steps forward, and for a second her eyes look ancient. No, she says. This is what she looks like without your chains. Minato's face hardens again, panic turning into calculation. What do you want? He demands, voice sharp. Naruto's gaze is empty. You know. Minato's eyes flick to the ANBU, to the window, to the seals on the walls. Escape routes, options. Naruto watches him think. Then Naruto acts. He moves faster than Minato's mind can process. In one step, he's across the room, hand clamped around Minato's throat, lifting him off the chair. Minato's feet kick, chakra surging, trying to form a Rasengan. Naruto crushes the chakra flow with sheer pressure, demon aura swallowing it. Minato's eyes widen, shocked that his power, his precious control means nothing here. Kushina stares, shaking, hand over her stomach. Mito watches like she is seeing an old memory replay with a different face. Naruto speaks, voice low enough to be intimate, cruel enough to be law. This is the price of your sin. Minato tries to speak, only a strangled sound comes out. Naruto's fingers tighten, Kushina's voice cracks. Wait. Naruto pauses, not because she commands him, because the deal is with her. Kushina's eyes are wet, furious, terrified, and steady all at once. She looks at Minato, and something in her breaks cleanly. I wanted you to be better, she whispers. I wanted you to love me without stealing me. Minato's eyes flicker, and for a second, just one, he looks like a man instead of a Hokage. Then Naruto ends it. Demon magic, eroding sleep. Green aura blooms over Minato's face. His eyes widen in horror as his skin begins to shrivel, his life force draining away like water through cracked hands. He tries to scream. He can't. His body ages in seconds. Wrinkles deepen, hair dulls. Strength collapses. Kushina flinches, a sob catching in her throat, but she doesn't look away. Because she didn't come here to be rescued. She came here to choose the ending. Minato's eyes turn toward her, wet with anger and fear and something that might have been regret if he had time to understand it. Then his flesh dissolves. Bone remains. A skeleton drops to the floor with a dry clatter. Silence slams into the room. The ANBU guard is still frozen, breathing ragged, eyes wide behind the mask, watching his Hokage die like a bug crushed under a boot. Kushina's legs wobble. She grips the desk edge, breathing hard, trying not to vomit, trying not to collapse. Mito steps closer to her, not touching, but close enough that Kushina can feel her presence. You did what you had to, Mito says, voice quieter now. Kushina snaps her head toward Mito, eyes blazing. Don't comfort me, she spits. You don't get to. Mito's expression doesn't change. You're right, she says. I don't. But you're still standing. That matters. Naruto releases the ANBU guard with a flick of his fingers. The guard drops to his knees, choking, shaking, staring at the bones on the floor. Naruto leans down until his face is close to the guard's mask. Tell them, Naruto murmurs. Tell them what happens when they treat people like property. The guard can't answer. He can barely breathe. Naruto straightens and turns toward Kushina. Your end of the bargain, Naruto says. Kushina's eyes widen, fear surging fresh. Now? Naruto shakes his head once. Not yet. The mark. It binds the future. It ensures the price is collected. Kushina swallows hard. Her hand tightens over her stomach. Will it hurt my child? Naruto's gaze drops to her belly. His voice stays flat, but there is something careful in it. The mark is yours. The child is not part of the contract, unless you make it so. Kushina's shoulders sag with a sharp, trembling relief. Then do it. Naruto steps close. Kushina flinches, but doesn't retreat. She turns her right shoulder toward him, pulling her clothing aside just enough to expose skin. Her breath shakes. Naruto lifts one finger, violet energy gathering at the tip. Mito watches, jaw tight, eyes narrowed like she is daring the universe to try something. Naruto presses his fingertip to Kushina's shoulder. Heat bites. Kushina gasps, teeth clenched, fighting a scream. The burning lasts only a moment, but it feels like a brand pressed in the bone. When Naruto pulls back, the symbol glows against her skin. Slave of Hellwing, before sinking into her flesh like ink absorbed by skin. Kushina's hand rises to touch it, fingers trembling. She looks up at Naruto, eyes wet. "So that's it," she whispers. "I'm yours." Naruto's gaze is cold, but his voice is steady. "When you die, I will come." Kushina's throat moves. "And then what?" Naruto's eyes flick briefly to Mito, then back. "Then you will be remade." Kushina shudders, fear and resolve tangled tight. She looks down at her stomach, breathing slowly, as if the baby inside is the only thing keeping her from falling apart. Mito's voice drops, sharp with warning. "They will come for you." Kushina looks up. "Who?" Mito's eyes burn. "Konoha. The elders, the loyalists, anyone who benefits from pretending Minato was a saint. They will paint you as a traitor. They will call you unstable. They will try to erase you." Kushina's mouth twists. "Let them try." Naruto opens a portal. The darkness swirls, eager. "Where will you go?" Naruto asks. Kushina's eyes narrow, thinking fast. "Away," she says. "Somewhere they can't reach me until I give birth. Somewhere the village can't twist my child into a weapon." Naruto's gaze sharpens slightly. "You intend to run?" Kushina lifts her chin. "I intend to survive." Naruto holds her stare. Then he nods once, approval wrapped in indifference. "Good." Kushina hesitates at the edge of the portal. She looks back at the skeleton on the floor, at the life she just murdered, at the future she just burned down. Then she steps toward the darkness, and the building shudders. A violent pulse of chakra flashes through the tower, like a seal triggering, like an alarm screaming through the walls. Naruto's eyes narrow instantly. Mito's aura flares. Kushina freezes, eyes wide. Somewhere below, footsteps explode into motion. Doors slam, voices shout. ANBU masks flash in the hallway like white ghosts. And from the village outside, a wave of chakra signatures surges toward the tower. Fast, coordinated, hungry. Naruto's mouth curves into a thin, dangerous line. "So," he murmurs, "they noticed." Kushina's breath catches. "Naruto." Naruto lifts one hand, stopping her. His gaze stays on the doorway as the first shapes rush up the stairs. "Stay behind me," he says again, voice like iron. Mito steps to his other side, blade in hand, eyes shining with a familiar, violent calm. The stairwell door bursts inward, and the first ANBU agent charges straight into the office, mask blank, killing intent sharp enough to cut. Naruto doesn't move, he just watches them come, and the portal behind Kushina keeps swirling, open and waiting, while the entire village starts to close in like a noose. Naruto doesn't move, he just watches them come. The first ANBU's blade flashes for his neck, fast and clean, a professional execution line. The mask is blank, but the intent behind it is loud. Eliminate the intruder, protect the myth, preserve the village. Naruto lifts 2 fingers. The blade stops an inch from his throat like it hits invisible stone. The ANBU freezes mid-strike, muscles locked, breath choking in his chest. His body trembles under the pressure of Naruto's aura, but he can't fall. He can't retreat. He can't even blink properly. "Demon magic. Bind," Naruto says softly, like he's naming the weather. A second ANBU charges in behind the first, sliding low for Naruto's legs. Mito's blade moves once, a short slash that doesn't kill, just disarms, steel ringing across the floor. The agent's hand flies back, fingers severed clean at the knuckles, blood splattering the wall. The agent screams. Naruto's eyes flicker toward him. "Quiet," he murmurs. The scream dies in the agent's throat as if the sound itself is strangled. The man clutches his bleeding wrist, face twisting in panic as he realizes he can't even make noise. Kushina stands at the edge of the swirling portal, hand over her stomach, eyes wide. Her breath comes in sharp, shallow pulls. She looks like she wants to bolt through the darkness and never look back. But the staircase door keeps slamming open. More ANBU pour in. Then Jonin. Then a knot of sensory shinobi, eyes sharp, reading the air. A village mobilizes in seconds when its myth is threatened. Naruto watches them flood the room and he feels nothing but mild irritation. Like insects crawling onto his sleeve, one of the Jonin steps forward, older, hardened, eyes like stone. "Uzumaki Kushina," he snaps. "Step away from the demon." Kushina's jaw clenches. "Don't call me like I'm your property," she spits back. The man's eyes flick to the skeleton on the floor. His face tightens, grief and fury mixing into one ugly thing. "You killed the Hokage." Kushina's voice shakes, but it doesn't break. "He killed me first." A wave of outrage ripples through the shinobi. They surge. Naruto's aura expands. It hits the room like a tidal wave. Knees buckle. Some shinobi drop instantly, faces pale, gasping under the pressure. Others grit their teeth and force themselves upright, pride keeping their spines stiff even when their bodies beg to fold. Mito stands with her blade angled downward, relaxed, confident, as if she is watching a training match and already knows the outcome. Naruto speaks without raising his voice. "Move again," he says, "and I erase you." One Jonin tries anyway. He throws a tag, an explosive seal, a desperate gamble. Naruto doesn't dodge. He flicks his wrist. The tag dissolves into ash mid-air. The Jonin stares, shocked. Naruto steps forward, and the air seems to recoil away from him. He reaches out and grips the man's facepalm, covering eyes, nose, mouth. The Jonin's muffled shout turns into a wet choke. Naruto squeezes just enough for pain, not enough for death. "Your village thinks it owns people," Naruto says quietly. "It thinks titles excuse chains. It thinks for the greater good is a spell that makes cruelty holy." He releases the Jonin. The man collapses, vomiting onto the floor, body shaking. Naruto turns slightly, eyes landing on Kushina. "Go." Kushina hesitates, staring at the room full of armed men and masks and terror. "They'll follow." Naruto's expression remains empty. "Let them." Mito's eyes flash. "Kushina," she says sharply, voice cutting through the noise. "If you want your child to be free, you run now." Kushina's gaze snaps to Mito. Anger flickers, then confusion, then something like reluctant trust. She looks down at her stomach again, and the decision hardens in her chest. She steps into the portal. Darkness swallows her. The portal remains open for one breath longer, like Naruto's letting the world see the exit before he closes it. A sensory shinobi shrieks, pointing. "She's gone." The room erupts. Naruto closes his fist. The portal snaps shut like a mouth biting off a scream. Panic floods the office. Konoha shinobi rush the walls, throw seals, trigger countermeasures. Some try to anchor space, to hold the remnants of the portal's trail. Mito watches them with disdain. "They're scrambling," she mutters. Naruto steps toward the window. They'll try to chase her. A Junin lunges for Naruto's back in a last-ditch attempt to stop him. Mito pivots and drives her elbow into his throat. The impact crushes cartilage. The man drops, gagging, clutching his neck, eyes bulging. Mito leans close, voice low and vicious. "Stay down," she whispers, and there is no mercy in it. Only fact. Naruto glances at her once. Approval sits in the silence. Then he moves. He crosses the office in a blur and steps out the window into open air, like gravity is a suggestion. For an instant, he hovers above the village. Above rooftops, street lamps, sleeping families who don't know a demon's shadow just passed over their lives. Mito follows, stepping onto the window ledge and dropping into the night with elegant control, landing beside him on the rooftop without a sound. Below, Konoha begins to wake in full. Alarm bells, shouts, lanterns flickering on. Shinobi leaping across roofs like silhouettes made of panic. Naruto looks down at the village and feels the ancient disgust rise. This place pretends it is peace, built on power, built on sacrifices made by people who didn't get to refuse. He turns his gaze outward, searching. He can feel Kushina's mark now, distant but clear, like a star he can track through storm clouds. "She's moving," Naruto says. Mito's eyes narrow. "They're hunting." They are. Teams spread across the village perimeter, attempting to predict her route. Sensory types cast nets of chakra over the forest. A and BU move like blades through trees. Someone is already spinning the story inside the Hokage Tower. Kushina has been corrupted. Kushina is unstable. Kushina is a danger to the village. The village always finds a way to make the victim the villain. Naruto lifts his hand. Space bends slightly around his fingers as demon magic gathers, quiet and lethal. Mito watches him. "Are you going to kill them all?" Naruto doesn't answer immediately. He considers. The easiest path is annihilation. Wipe the hunters out, turn Konoha into a crater. Let history remember the night it tried to play God and got punished. But Kushina isn't safe yet. And Naruto doesn't like wasting time on revenge when something more valuable is on the board. He lowers his hand. "Not tonight," he says. "Tonight is about the contract." Mito's jaw tightens. "And what about her child?" Naruto's eyes flicker, just slightly, toward Mito. "The contract is hers," he says. "The child's fate is not signed unless she signs it." Mito's gaze hardens. "Then Konoha will try to steal the child anyway." Naruto looks back toward the tree line. Then Konoha is foolish. They move. Not with portals this time. Naruto is careful. Too many eyes. Too many seals. He doesn't want the village to learn how to predict his methods. He drifts through the night like smoke, crossing rooftops, then the outer wall, then into the forest where chakra signatures pulse like distant fires. They find the hunters first. A squad of A and BU crouches in a clearing, hands on the ground, sensing. Naruto steps into their circle like he belongs there. One A and BU whirls, blade up. The mask tilts, startled. What? Naruto's aura expands again, softer than before but still crushing. The A and BU drop to one knee like puppets with cut strings. Mito watches them with cold satisfaction. Naruto walks past them without killing them. He doesn't need to. The message is enough. He keeps moving, following the mark's pull. Minutes pass, then miles. Kushina runs hard, pushing her body, refusing to slow even when pain stabs up her spine. Naruto can feel her fear through the link, can feel the way she keeps one hand on her stomach like she is holding her future in place. They catch up just as she stops at the edge of a river, breathing hard, scanning for pursuit. She senses them before she sees them. Her head snaps up, eyes wide as Naruto and Mito step from the tree line. Kushina's body tenses, ready to fight or flee. "It's me," Mito says, voice controlled. "We're not here to drag you back." Kushina's eyes flick to Naruto. "Then why are you here?" Naruto's expression stays flat. "Because Konoha will keep chasing, because your fear will make you sloppy, and because the contract is mine to protect until it's collected." Kushina's mouth twists. "So, I'm an investment." Naruto doesn't deny it. "Yes." Kushina's shoulders shake with anger. "At least you're honest." A distant shout echoes through the trees. The hunters are close. Kushina's eyes sharpen. "They're here." Mito steps closer, scanning. "How many?" Kushina swallows. "Too many." Naruto tilts his head slightly, listening to the forest. "Not too many." Another shout. A flash of movement. A kunai thuds into a tree near Kushina's head, pinning a paper tag that glows. A barrier seal begins to form, lines of light crawling through the trees like a cage closing in. Kushina's breath catches. They're sealing the area. Mito's aura flares. They learn fast. Naruto's hand rises, and the barrier lines hesitate as if they suddenly remember fear. A team of jonin burst into the clearing, weapons ready, eyes wild. Behind them, a masked ANBU captain steps forward, voice sharp. "Kushina," the captain says. "By order of the village, surrender. You're under arrest." Kushina laughs, a broken sound. "For what? For surviving?" "For treason," the captain snaps. "For assassinating the Hokage. For colluding with demons." Mito's eyes narrow. "Colluding," she repeats, amused and disgusted, like he didn't force it. Kushina's hand tightens around a kunai she picked up in her run, her voice shakes. "I'm not going back." The captain's eyes harden. "Then we'll bring you back." They move. Naruto steps forward. It happens fast, too fast for human eyes to track. One jonin swings. Naruto catches the blade with his bare hand. The steel screams as it corrodes under his grip, dissolving into rust and dust. The jonin stares, horrified. Naruto drives his palm into the man's chest. Not a dramatic strike, just a clean one. The jonin flies backward, slamming into a tree hard enough to split bark. He drops, unconscious or dead. No one can tell in the chaos. Mito moves like a red blur, blade flashing, cutting tendons, disarming, dropping men to the ground screaming. She doesn't kill unless she has to, but she makes sure they remember her. Kushina tries to hold her ground, but panic rattles her hands. She isn't weak, she's exhausted, pregnant. Running on rage and terror, the ANBU captain rushes her, aiming for her arms, trying to restrain rather than kill. Naruto appears between them. The captain skids to a stop, stunned, then lunges anyway with a tanto aim for Naruto's ribs. Naruto catches the captain's wrist, twists, and the bone snaps with a wet crack. The captain screams, and Naruto leans in close, voice low. "Tell your elders," Naruto says, "that the era of stealing wills is over." He releases the captain, letting him collapse. The rest of the shinobi hesitate. For the first time, fear outweighs duty. Naruto turns toward Kushina. "Move." Kushina swallows hard, nodding. Naruto reaches for the air and tears it open. A portal blossoms, black and swirling, the same mouth of darkness that took her out of the Hokage tower. It hums, inviting, terrifying. Kushina stares at it. Where does it go? Naruto's eyes are cold. Somewhere Konoha cannot follow. Mito glances at Naruto sharply. "You're taking her to Hellwing Castle." Naruto doesn't answer. Kushina's face pales. "No," she whispers. "I can't bring my child into hell." Mito's voice cuts, harsh but real. "You already did the moment you signed the mark. The question is whether your child survives long enough to choose anything." Kushina's breath shudders. She looks back at the forest, at the hunters regrouping, at the barrier lines flaring again as reinforcements approach. She looks down at her stomach. Then she closes her eyes, and when she opens them again, the fear is still there, but the decision is stronger. She steps forward. The portal swallows her. Mito follows immediately, blade still in hand, eyes scanning the hunters like she wants to carve her name into their nightmares. Naruto turns last, facing the shinobi who remain. They stare at him like he is the end of their world. Naruto's voice is calm. "You didn't understand what you were protecting," he says. "You thought you were saving a village. You were guarding a crime." He lifts his hand. For one breath, every shinobi freezes, expecting annihilation. Naruto doesn't kill them. He does something worse. He releases the binding pressure in a single snap, letting their bodies crash forward, letting them feel how close they were to death and how casually he denied them the dignity of a fight. They fall to the ground, coughing, shaking, humiliated. Naruto steps into the portal and vanishes. Hellwing Castle greets Kushina like a storm with teeth. The air is heavy, hot, charged with power that makes her skin prickle. The sky above the castle is a churning bruise. Torches burn violet along black stone corridors. Demons pause mid-step as she appears, eyes widening at the scent of human life, at the scent of pregnancy. Kushina recoils instinctively, hand over her stomach, body screaming that she is somewhere she should never be. Mito steps in front of her like a wall. "Look at them," Mito says softly, deadly. "They're hungry. But they know who owns you." Naruto appears behind them, aura rolling out like a warning. Demons bow, some hiss, none step closer. Kushina's voice trembles. "You're bringing me here to keep me safe." Naruto's eyes are empty. "You are safest under my roof." Kushina swallows. "And when I die?" Naruto's gaze sharpens. "Then I collect." A silence stretches. Kushina looks down at her stomach, breath shaking. "I don't want my child to be a monster." Mito's expression softens by a fraction, just enough to be real. "Then raise her to be strong," she says. "Not cruel, not broken, strong." Kushina's head snaps up. "Her?" Mito's mouth twitches. "Call it instinct." Naruto turns, already walking deeper into the castle. "You will stay here," he says. "You will be guarded. You will not leave without my permission." Kushina's eyes flare. "So I traded one prison for another." Naruto stops and looks back at her, gaze like a blade. "You traded a prison that rewrote your mind for one that keeps you alive. Choose which you prefer." Kushina's hands tremble, fury and fear and helplessness colliding. She wants to scream, she wants to strike him, she wants to run, but she can't run, not from Konoha, not from hell, not from the mark burning under her skin. She forces her chin up. "Fine," she says through clenched teeth, "but if anything touches my child," Naruto's voice is flat, "then I kill it." Kushina flinches at how easy he says it. Mito watches her carefully. "You'll learn," Mito says. He doesn't threaten, he states. Kushina's breath shakes. Naruto turns away again, and as he walks, the torches along the corridor flare brighter, reacting to his mood. Because Naruto feels it too. Not the hunters, not the village, something deeper. A vibration in the realm, like a far-off drum beat. Like an old door beginning to open. He reaches the ritual chamber, the same room where Mito was reborn. The obsidian slab sits in the center, waiting like a memory. Naruto stands still, listening. Mito arrives at his side, voice low. "What is it?" Naruto's eyes narrow toward the ceiling as if he can see through stone into the bruised sky. "That voice," he murmurs. "It's closer." Kushina steps into the doorway behind them, trembling but trying to stand tall. "What voice?" Naruto doesn't answer her, because the sound finally becomes clear. Not words, not yet, but a presence. A pressure that feels older than Hell's current order. It crawls through the castle like a cold wind, and every torch flickers. Every demon in the halls freezes. Even Mito's blade hums, unsettled. Naruto's aura rises, instinctive, predatory. Then the presence brushes against his mind, and for the first time in a long time, Naruto's expression changes, not into fear, but into a sharp, focused stillness. Because whatever is coming isn't Konoha. It isn't heaven's petty attention. It's something that sounds like a name he hasn't heard in centuries, whispering from the dark, calling him like it already knows the shape of his fate. Naruto doesn't answer it. He turns away from the ritual chamber as if the castle itself didn't just inhale and hold its breath. He walks down the corridor with a measured pace that says he refuses to be rushed by anything. God, demon, omen, or memory. But Mito hears the difference in his footsteps. A tighter rhythm, a slight grind of restraint. Kushina follows a step behind, one hand on her stomach, eyes darting to every shadow like it might leap. Demons stare at her from alcoves and balconies, lips curling back from teeth. Their hunger is obvious. Their fear is louder. Mito stays between them and everyone else, blade hanging at her side like a promise. She doesn't look scared. She looks insulted that the world thinks it gets to threaten her again. Naruto stops at a pair of doors guarded by two hulking devils with black armor fused into their flesh. They bow immediately. "Her room," Naruto says, voice flat. "No one enters without my permission." The guards nod. "Yes, Lord Hellwing." Kushina flinches at the title. Lord, Hellwing. She tastes it like poison and necessity. The doors open into a chamber that feels wrong because it's almost gentle. A bed carved from dark wood. Curtains. A hearth with violet flames that don't burn the air. A window that looks out over lava rivers like it's normal scenery. Kushina steps inside slowly, as if expecting the floor to bite. You planned this, she says. Naruto's eyes don't soften. I plan everything. Kushina turns on him, anger flashing. So I'm a piece on your board. Naruto steps closer, aura pressing. You're alive, he says. That's the only answer you need. Kushina's throat tightens. Her fury tries to hold, but it's exhausted. She looks down at her stomach and the baby shifts, a small movement that reminds her what the argument is really about. Mito speaks, quieter now. Rest, she tells Kushina. Your body needs it. Your child needs it. Kushina's eyes flick to Mito. Don't pretend you're my friend. Mito's expression stays hard. I'm not. I'm the woman who knows what it feels like to be owned by a village and then owned by hell. I'm telling you what kept me alive. Kushina swallows. She hates the logic. She takes it anyway. Naruto turns to leave, then pauses as if remembering something inconvenient. He looks at Kushina, voice like a rule carved in stone. You will not attempt to summon anyone from here. Kushina bristles. I won't. Naruto's gaze sharpens. You won't because you can't. The castle is warded. If you try, the backlash will rip your chakra network apart. Kushina goes still, pale. That's necessary. Naruto finishes and walks out. The doors close. Kushina stands in the quiet, breathing hard. For the first time since the Hokage Tower, there is no chase, no shouting, no hands reaching for her. Only the weight of hell and the knowledge that she is surrounded by predators who can smell her fear. She sinks onto the bed, trembling. Mito remains inside with her, standing guard like a bitter angel. Kushina speaks without looking up. Why are you doing this? Mito's eyes stay on the doorway. Because I hate cages, she says. Kushina's voice cracks. Then why accept his mark? Mito's jaw tightens. Because in my world, the cage was going to exist either way. I chose the one with teeth. Kushina wipes her face hard with her sleeve, angry at herself for shaking. I don't want my child to grow up here. Mito's voice turns colder. Then you better make sure she survives long enough to leave. That night, the castle is restless. Demons prowl the halls more than usual, sniffing, listening. The hungry ones whisper about the human carrying life. The ambitious ones whisper about what it means that Hellwing Naruto now has a marked Uzumaki inside his walls again. Naruto sits alone in a high chamber lined with black stone and old trophies. He doesn't sleep. He listens to the presence that brushed his mind. It returns in pulses, like a distant knock that refuses to stop. And beneath it, another sensation begins to grow. A fragile, bright thread. The unborn child. Naruto has no intention of caring. That's what he tells himself. The child is not part of the contract. The child is not his. The child is simply there. But existence has weight, and in hell, weight attracts attention. Days pass, then weeks. Kushina's belly grows. Her moods swing between rage and fear, and a stubborn kind of hope she tries not to show. Mito keeps her alive in small, harsh ways, forcing her to eat, forcing her to rest, forcing her to walk the castle grounds so her body doesn't weaken. Kushina hates her for it. Kushina also survives because of it. Naruto visits rarely. When he does, demons vanish from the hallways like smoke. Kushina watches him like he's the storm that destroyed her life and the wall that kept her standing afterward. One evening, as the violet hearth crackles, Kushina finally asks the question she's been choking on. What happens when I give birth? Mito answers before Naruto can. You keep breathing, she says. That's the priority. Kushina's eyes flash. I mean, will the village find me? Will they come for her? Naruto's gaze lifts from the shadowed window. They can't cross here. Kushina's voice sharpens. They can't cross now, but they'll keep hunting. They'll keep sending people. They'll keep writing stories about me until everyone believes them. Naruto's voice is quiet. Let them write. Kushina leans forward, eyes wet with fury. You don't get it. They'll turn my child into a symbol, a weapon, a curse. They'll call her dangerous just because she exists. Naruto looks at her then, really looks, and the room seems to tighten. Then raise her to be dangerous, he says, not to hurt innocent people. Dangerous to anyone who tries to chain her. Kushina stiffens. Mito watches Naruto like she's measuring him again. Kushina's hands clench into fists. I didn't summon you to be a father, she spits. Naruto's mouth curves faintly, humorless. Good. Because I'm not. The moment hangs, sharp and unresolved. Later, Kushina goes into labor. It hits her like a wave of fire through her spine. She doubles over, screaming, and the sound echoes down the corridor like a warning bell. Demons stir. Some hiss with excitement. Some recoil like they're afraid the birth itself might explode. Mito is at her side immediately, moving with brutal efficiency. "Breathe," she orders. "Now." Kushina grabs her wrist hard enough to bruise. "It hurts," she gasps, panicked. Mito's voice is ice. "Of course it hurts. Keep breathing." Kushina screams again, and the castle answers with distant howls. Naruto arrives without a sound, stepping into the room like the darkness carried him. His eyes take in the scene instantly, Kushina sweating, shaking, hair plastered to her face. Mito braced beside her, the air thick with blood and life. Naruto's gaze narrows. He doesn't like chaos. He doesn't like variables. He lifts his hand slightly and the room stills. Not silent, Kushina still cries out. But the air becomes controlled, pressure equalized, demons outside suddenly unable to push through the wards. Mito doesn't look at Naruto. "Keep them out," she says. "That's all I need." Naruto's eyes remain fixed on Kushina's belly. "I am." Hours stretch. Time becomes pain. Kushina claws at sheets, sobbing, cursing, begging the universe to stop tearing her apart. Mito keeps her anchored, keeps her breathing, keeps her from losing herself in panic. Then the final push hits. Kushina screams, body arching, and the room fills with a sudden surge of chakra, wild, uncontrolled, terrifying in its rawness. For a heartbeat, the castle torches flicker like they might go out. Naruto's aura surges in response, stabilizing the space by force. A cry cuts through everything. A newborn's cry. Kushina collapses back, shaking, eyes wide with shock and relief and fear. Mito lifts the child carefully, hands steady. The baby is small, red-faced, furious at being alive, lungs strong. Mito's eyes soften by a fraction. "She's here," she murmurs. Kushina reaches with trembling arms. "Give her to me." Mito hesitates only long enough to check the room, check Naruto, check the air, then places the baby in Kushina's arms. Kushina sobs immediately, rocking, pressing her lips to the child's head. "Hi," she whispers, voice breaking. "Hi, I'm here." Naruto watches from the foot of the bed. His expression is unreadable, but his eyes don't leave the infant. Kushina looks up at him, tears streaking her face. "Don't," she warns, sharp with instinct. "Don't even think about it." Naruto's voice is flat. "I'm not thinking about anything." Kushina doesn't believe him. She hugs her daughter tighter. Days pass again, but the castle doesn't settle. If anything, it becomes more dangerous. Demons, who once only whispered now, stare openly. A marked Uzumaki in her newborn in Hellwing Castle is a scent trail for every ambitious predator who wants to test their luck. Naruto increases the guard. Ward lines thicken. The air becomes heavier with protective pressure. Mito stays near Kushina constantly, blade always within reach. Kushina tries to recover, tries to sleep, tries to learn how to feed and hold and soothe her child while surrounded by hell. She names her Naruki. Not because she wants to honor Naruto, because the name tastes like defiance. A piece of strength she can put in her daughter's mouth from the beginning. Naruki grows fast, too fast. At first, Kushina thinks it's just the panic making time blur. Then she notices the baby's eyes focusing too sharply. The way Naruki's tiny fingers sometimes curl like claws. The way the air around her hums faintly when she cries, as if her emotions tug at chakra in the room. Kushina tries to hide it, terrified Naruto will see the signs and decide the child is a complication worth removing. But Naruto already knows. He doesn't need to touch Naruki to sense the strain. The child's body is mortal, but her environment isn't. Hell energy presses into her every second. The mark on Kushina acts like a beacon, and the castle's wards and Naruto's aura saturate the air. Naruki is breathing poison and trying to turn it into oxygen. One night, it goes wrong. Naruki wakes shrieking high, desperate, unnatural. Her small body convulses. Dark veins spider under her skin for a second, then fade. Her breath turns ragged, like she can't pull enough air. Kushina panics. She scoops Naruki up, shaking. "No, no, please." Mito is there instantly, eyes wide, seeing the truth. Naruto arrives a breath later, and the room chills under the weight of his presence. He takes one look at Naruki and his jaw tightens. Kushina backs away instinctively, clutching her daughter like a shield. "Don't touch her," she spits, wild-eyed. Naruto steps closer anyway. "Move," he orders. Kushina shakes her head violently. "No, you'll hurt her." Mito's voice cuts through, urgent. "Kushina, he's the only one who can fix this." Kushina's eyes snap to Mito, betrayed. "Fix?" She chokes. "Or finish?" Naruto's gaze turns colder. "If I wanted her dead," he says, "she'd already be ash." The words land like a slap. Kushina's arms tremble. Naruki's cries weaken into a thin whimper, her face turning pale. Kushina's fear collapses into desperation. She holds Naruki out, hands shaking. "Help her," she whispers. "Please." Naruto takes the child with a grip that is careful despite how inhuman he is. Naruki's tiny body feels hot, feverish. He closes his eyes, sensing the damage. The diagnosis is immediate. She's being torn apart, Naruto says quietly. Kushina's breath catches. By what? Naruto's eyes open, violet embers sharp. By hell? Mito's jaw tightens. She's too human. Naruto nods once. Her body can't handle the Yukai energy saturation. Every day here is poisoning her. Kushina's voice breaks. Then send us back. Send us anywhere else. Naruto's gaze stays fixed on Naruki. Konoha will find you. Heaven will notice you. And the presence I felt is getting closer. Running won't solve this. Kushina steps forward, furious through tears. Then what do we do? Naruto's voice drops. Dangerous. We change what she is. Silence slams into the room. Kushina's eyes widen in horror. No. Mito watches Naruto, tense. Naruto. Naruto's gaze doesn't shift. She won't survive otherwise. Kushina clutches her hair with one hand, shaking. She's a baby, she sobs. She's innocent. You can't turn her into a devil. Naruto's expression is unreadable. Not a devil, he says. Not fully, but enough to withstand this realm. Kushina stares at him like he's proposing murder. Naruto meets her gaze. I can give her demonic blood, he says. A control transfer. It will reinforce her body, stabilize her chakra network, make her resilient. Kushina's voice comes out thin. And what does it cost? Naruto's eyes flicker, just slightly. It costs her comfort. It costs her dream of a simple life. It costs her the ability to pretend she's normal. Kushina shakes her head violently, tears falling. No, there has to be another way. Mito steps closer, voice low, harsh with reality. Kushina, you can refuse, and then you can bury her. Kushina's face crumples. Naruki whimpers in Naruto's arms, small and fading. Kushina's whole body shakes as she reaches out, touching Naruki's cheek with trembling fingers. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. She looks up at Naruto, eyes red, voice broken into steel. If I do this, she says, you swear to me she won't become a monster. Naruto's gaze is cold. What she becomes depends on how she's raised. Kushina's breath shudders. She nods once, sharp, like she's cutting off part of herself to keep the rest alive. Do it, she whispers. Save her. Naruto turns immediately, carrying Naruki toward the ritual chamber. Mito follows. Kushina stumbles after them, wiping her face, forcing her legs to move. The obsidian slab waits in the center of the chamber like it has been waiting for this exact moment all along. Naruto lays Naruki down gently. The baby's cries are weak now, body trembling. Kushina reaches for her. Naruto blocks her with one hand without looking away from the child. Stay back, he orders. Kushina chokes. She's scared. Naruto's voice is flat. So are you. That won't help. Mito steps to Kushina's side, hand on her shoulder, holding her in place like an anchor. Naruto lifts his hand, violet energy swirling around his palm. He draws a thin line across his own palm with a claw, and dark blood beads, thick, heavy, charged with ancient power. Kushina gasps, horrified. Naruto brings his bleeding palm close to Naruki's mouth and presses one drop to her lips. Naruki's tiny mouth opens instinctively. The drop slides in. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then Naruki's body arches hard, a silent scream. Dark energy flares around her like smoke catching fire. The torches flicker violently. The sigils carved in the floor glow. Kushina tries to rush forward. Mito restrains her, jaw clenched, eyes wet with fury and focus. Naruto's other hand presses two fingers to Naruki's chest. He speaks a short old phrase. Demon magic threads into the infant's chakra network with surgical precision, forcing the foreign power to bind instead of burn. Naruki's eyes snap open. For a second, they are too bright, too sharp. Then the darkness fades into something stable, an unnatural depth behind the gaze, like a storm sealed behind glass. Naruki exhales, a shaky little breath. The dark veins under her skin vanish, her color returns, her crying stops. Kushina's knees almost give out. Naruto withdraws his hand, palm still bleeding slightly. He watches Naruki's tiny chest rise and fall, slow and steady now. It's done, he says. Kushina stares, trembling, then rushes forward the moment Naruto steps back. She scoops Naruki up, clutching her to her chest like she's afraid the world will steal her again. Naruki looks up at her mother and blinks. Calm, present, alive. Kushina sobs into her daughter's hair. Mito turns her head away, blinking hard. Naruto watches them both in silence, the castle's torches settling back into steady flame. But the air doesn't fully relax. Because the moment Naruki stabilizes, Naruto feels something else tighten across the realm, like a thread being pulled. Like that distant presence heard the ritual and smiled. Naruto's eyes narrow toward the darkness above the chamber. The knock is closer now, and it sounds less like a warning and more like a promise. Naruto doesn't react the way most rulers react to threats. He doesn't panic. He doesn't gather advisors. He doesn't announce war. He tightens his grip on control. That night, Hellwing Castle becomes quieter in a way that makes even demons uneasy. Ward lines thicken. Corridors grow heavier with pressure. The torches burn steadier, like the fire itself has been disciplined into silence. Kushina barely notices any of it. She sits in her room with Naruki in her arms, rocking slowly, whispering words that don't feel big enough to protect a child who has already tasted hell. Naruki's breathing is stable now, and her eyes track movement with a calm that looks wrong on an infant. Sometimes, when she yawns, the air around her shivers as if the world flinches at the sound. Kushina kisses her forehead anyway. "Stay human," she whispers. "Stay kind. Stay you." Mito stands in the corner, arms crossed, watching the doorway. She looks like a guard. She looks like a blade left leaning against a wall, always ready. Kushina speaks without looking up. "You think this was the right choice?" Mito doesn't answer immediately. Then, quietly, "I think she's alive." Kushina's eyes glisten. "And what is she now?" Mito's gaze softens by a fraction, just enough to be real. "A girl," she says. "That's the only thing that matters." Naruto doesn't come for 2 days after the ritual. When he finally does, he doesn't enter with ceremony. He appears at the doorway as if the darkness delivered him there. Kushina's body tenses immediately, arms tightening around Naruki. Naruto looks at the child. Naruki looks back. There is no fear in her expression, only a steady stare, like she recognizes something in him the way fire recognizes fire. Naruto's eyes narrow slightly. Kushina's voice is sharp. "Don't look at her like that." Naruto's gaze flicks to Kushina. "Like what? Like she belongs to you." Kushina spits. Naruto's voice is flat. She doesn't. Kushina doesn't believe him, but she hears something else in the tone, something careful, controlled, restrained. That unsettles her more than cruelty would. Naruto steps forward. Kushina instinctively leans back. Naruto stops before he reaches the bed. He doesn't touch Naruki. He simply studies the child's aura, the way the demonic blood sits inside her like a dark foundation under a human house. "She'll adapt," Naruto says. Kushina's breath shakes, and if she doesn't, Naruto's eyes turn colder. "Then she dies." Kushina flinches as if slapped. Mito's jaw tightens. Naruto continues because he doesn't say things to comfort. "But she will," he adds, and there is no softness, only certainty. "Because you forced her to be strong." Kushina's eyes burn. "I forced her to survive." Naruto holds her gaze. Same thing. The next years blur in a pattern of vigilance. Naruki grows, not at a human pace, but not at a demon's either. She is caught between worlds, and the castle watches her like she's an answer to a question no one wants to ask out loud. Demons test boundaries, small things at first, a servant lingering too long in a hallway, a guard staring too openly, a whisper that reaches Kushina's door like a knife. Mito ends those tests quickly. Kushina learns to move through Hellwing Castle with her spine straight and her eyes sharp. Like weakness is a scent she refuses to leak into the air. She learns which demons bow out of fear and which bow out of calculation. She learns to read hunger in the way mouths twitch. She also learns something else, slowly, painfully. Naruto is not kind, but he is consistent. His protection is not warm, it is absolute. Demons that get too close to Kushina's door vanish. There are no bodies, there are no warnings, just empty spaces where threats used to exist. Kushina hates being safe inside a cage. She hates needing the cage. She hates that she can't deny it. Mito watches her struggle and doesn't offer comfort. She offers reality. "One day," Mito says as they walk the castle gardens, black stone paths, strange, thorned vines, heat rising from cracks like breath. "You'll stop thinking of him as your jailer and start thinking of him as a storm you live under." Kushina's eyes narrow. "That's not better." Mito's mouth twists. "No, but it's accurate." Naruki toddles between them, small feet pattering, hair messy, eyes bright. When she trips, she doesn't cry. She looks at the ground like it offended her, then stands again. Mito watches that with something like approval. Kushina watches it with fear. Because Naruki's power begins to show in flashes. When she gets angry, the torches flicker. When she laughs, the air feels lighter for one breath. When she's frightened, shadows crawl along the walls like they're trying to protect her. Kushina tries to teach her gentleness anyway. She teaches her to say please, to say sorry, share, to breathe before striking. Naruki learns, but Naruki also watches Naruto. Naruto rarely acknowledges her directly, yet when he enters a room, Naruki goes still like an animal hearing a predator's footstep and deciding whether to respect it or challenge it. Sometimes she smiles at him. Sometimes she stares with childish defiance. Naruto meets those stares without emotion, and somewhere deep in his silence, something shifts. Not love, not warmth, recognition. Hellwing Castle is not the only place changing. In the far corners of Hell, the balance of power shifts when the rumor spreads. Hellwing Naruto has a human-born child under his roof. Not his by contract, not claimed by name, but protected by reality. Ambitious devils begin to circle. Allies approach with gifts that are really tests. Enemies send scouts. Old grudges sharpen their edges. One of those edges arrives in the form of a woman, Akemi. She comes to the gates with her chin lifted, eyes bright, aura strong enough to make guards hesitate. She is not begging, she is not pleading, she is offering herself like a blade for purchase, demanding to be valued. Naruto meets her in the main hall, Mito at his side. Kushina stays back with Naruki, watching from the shadows, not trusting anyone who steps into this castle wanting a deal. Akemi bows. Lord Hellwing. Naruto's gaze is cold. Speak. Akemi's eyes flash. I want power, she says. Real power, not scraps, not borrowed strength. I want to stop being prey. Naruto's voice is flat, then gets stronger. Akemi's jaw tightens. I've opened a gate others can't. I've bled for it. I've survived what should have killed me. Mito studies her, unimpressed. And you think that earns you a place here? Akemi's gaze snaps to Mito. I think it earns me a chance. Naruto steps closer. Prove it. Akemi inhales, steadying herself, and performs a technique that cracks the air. An opening of demonic gates, 2 layers deep, a risky tear that floods the hall with raw power. The stone floor trembles. The torches roar higher. Lesser demons stumble back, shocked. Kushina tightens her grip on Naruki, feeling the surge like thunder in her bones. Naruto watches without blinking. Akemi holds the gates open, sweat beading, muscles shaking as the power tries to rip her apart. Her teeth clench. Her eyes water, but she doesn't collapse. Naruto nods once, then he closes his hand. The gates snap shut like a mouth biting through air. The hall steadies. The torches settle. Akemi drops to one knee, panting. Naruto's voice is quiet. You want protection. You want strength. You want purpose. Akemi lifts her head. Yes. Naruto's eyes narrow. Then you pay. Akemi's breath catches. She knows what this means. She came anyway. Mark me, she says. Mito's eyes flicker, sharp. Kushina goes still behind the pillars, heart pounding. Naruki watches with wide, curious eyes. Naruto presses a finger to Akemi's shoulder. The brand burns into existence, glowing for a breath before sinking into skin. Akemi exhales like she just walked off a cliff and found ground waiting. Welcome, Naruto says, and it is not warmth, it is possession. Kushina's stomach turns. Mito watches Kushina's reaction without comment, because there is no moral argument here that doesn't break under Hell's logic. Only choices and consequences. Not long after Akemi's binding, another arrival changes the castle's air. A prisoner is dragged through the gates, chains around wrists, hair disheveled, eyes furious, aura sparking like electricity trapped under skin. Nightwing Claire. Her reputation reaches the halls before her footsteps do. A lightning devil, dangerous, defiant, held in captivity for someone else's amusement. Naruto walks the corridor where she's restrained. Claire lifts her head and glares at him like she wants to tear his throat out. Another captor, she spits. Naruto looks at her chains. Who put those on you? Claire laughs bitterly. Does it matter? Naruto's eyes narrow. Answer. Claire hesitates, then names the one who held her. The name tastes like a warning. Naruto's expression doesn't change. Unfortunate, he says. Claire's eyes flash. Unfortunate? Naruto lifts his hand and the chains corrode instantly, turning to dust that drifts to the floor. Claire stumbles, startled, rubbing her wrists, breathing hard like she can't believe she's upright without pain. Naruto speaks, voice calm. You're free. Claire stares at him, suspicious. Nothing is free. Naruto's mouth curves faintly. Correct. Mito watches from the side, blade ready in case Claire tries something stupid. Kushina watches from behind another doorway with Naruki pressed to her hip, wary of any new lightning in a room already full of fire. Claire's gaze flicks around the castle, seeing demons bow, seeing ward lines, seeing the way the air itself respects Naruto. So you want me to serve you? Naruto's eyes are empty. Serve, align, survive. Call it what you want. Claire steps closer, lightning crackling faintly around her fingers like a warning. And if I refuse? Naruto leans in slightly. Then you leave and die, he says. Because the ones who chained you will hunt you the moment you step outside my shadow. Claire's lips part, anger flaring. Naruto doesn't flinch. I'm not asking you to love me. I'm offering you a place where your power isn't wasted on running. Claire's gaze flickers, and for one breath the rage shifts into something sharper. Calculation. She lowers her hand. What's your name? Naruto's eyes stay on her. Hellwing Naruto. Claire's eyes widen a fraction recognition of the legend. Then she exhales slowly and bows, not deep, not submissive, but real. Claire, she says, they call me Lightning. Naruto nods once. Then be lightning under my roof. Claire straightens, eyes still dangerous. Don't mistake loyalty for softness. Naruto's voice is flat. I don't. In heaven, the ripple becomes a wound. Goddesses who once watched hell from safe distance now fixate, whispering about the demon titan and the human-born anomaly growing under his protection. Their interest turns predatory, then obsessive. They argue, they plot. They break whatever quiet laws heaven pretends it has. And something higher notices. Punishment falls like light shaped into blades. The goddesses are dragged before a divine court and stripped of illusions, their curiosity labeled as sin, their fascination treated like contamination. But even punishment doesn't erase the problem. Because the problem is not their obsession. The problem is that Hellwing Naruto is changing the rules without asking permission. And the presence that has been knocking at Naruto's mind finally speaks clearly. It comes one night when Naruto stands alone on a balcony, the bruised sky churning above him, lava rivers glowing below. The castle is quiet. Kushina sleeps with Naruki curled against her like a small, warm anchor. Mito stands guard in the hallway. Claire prowls the rooftops like a restless storm. Akemi trains until her hands bleed, desperate to prove her worth wasn't a mistake. Naruto breathes in the air of hell and feels the voice slide into his mind like cold metal. Not a whisper this time, a statement, a name, a promise about what will come for him. Naruto's aura flares, cracking the balcony stone. For a moment, his control slips, not into fear, but into anger so pure it makes the torches across the castle flare brighter in response. Mito appears behind him instantly, blade in hand. What is it? Naruto's jaw tightens. He doesn't answer her because saying it out loud gives it weight. Kushina appears a breath later, hair messy, Naruki in her arms, eyes wide with instinct. What's happening? Naruki looks past her mother and stares into the sky like she can see the thing Naruto can feel. Claire lands on the balcony rail, lightning sparking faintly. Akemi arrives from the corridor, breathing hard, eyes sharp. The castle gathers around Naruto like a family formed by violence and bargains. Naruto stares into the dark horizon and feels the truth settle into him with brutal clarity. The next war isn't Konoha. It isn't a village story. It is heaven finally deciding to clean up the mess it pretended wasn't real. It is hell deciding whether Hellwing Naruto is a threat to crush or a crown to follow. It is old enemies smelling blood in the water. It is inevitable. Kushina steps closer, voice trembling but steady. Are we safe? Naruto looks down at Naruki, at the child who should not exist here, who now does, breathing steadily, eyes calm. He looks at Mito, who traded one cage for another and sharpened herself into something unbreakable. He looks at Claire, who chose alignment over chains. He looks at Akemi, who demanded value and paid for it with her freedom. He looks at the strange, brutal stability he created without meaning to. Naruto's voice is quiet. For now, he says. Kushina's eyes glisten. And later, Naruto turns his gaze back to the sky. The presence presses again, like a finger tapping a door it expects to open. Naruto exhales slowly, controlled. Later, he says, we fight. Naruki makes a small sound in Kushina's arms, not a cry. Something softer, curious, almost fearless. Kushina hugs her tighter, as if love alone can keep hell from touching her again. Mito steps beside Naruto, voice low. You built a storm, she says. Now it's coming home. Naruto's mouth curves faintly, not quite a smile. Let it. And for a moment under the bruised sky of hell, the castle stands still, not peaceful, not safe, but together, a hard, impossible kind of hope carved out of darkness. Because even if the future is war, the present is proof. Proof that chains can break. Proof that choices matter. Proof that a child born in the shadow can still be raised with a hand steady enough to teach her where the line is. Naruto doesn't promise happiness. He doesn't promise forgiveness. He doesn't promise salvation. He promises survival. And in hell, that is the closest thing to mercy the universe ever gives.